Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm Hammer, and I'm joined by two of my favorite Wednesday hosts, Genty Maxey.
Hello.
And Terry Dementis.
Hello.
How you doing, Jen?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm well. How you doing, Terry?
Usual. Tired, but you know.
I hear you about the tire because I went to bed last night at midnight, and I got this morning at 4 a.m. And for some reason, I was completely rested. I was like, why am I not in here for another 4 hours? But I got up at 4 and I went through the entire day, changed oil in my lawnmower, cleaned up the yard, rolled up some hose, like from the faucet, the hose, the outside for like washing your car. That I can't bring the name, but anyway. So I did a lot of stuff outside before it got too hot, and then I got inside and did the dishes, and I was very energetic, and now it's catching up with me because I can barely keep my eyes open. Tonight's show is going to end at 10.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to hear that because I will need food.
Yeah. So.
And yes, it's buffering for me too.
Yeah. Good news. The OBS's didn't screw up this time. I think there's something going on with StreamYards because the piece in StreamYards that talks to OBS had a different name this time.
Okay.
So I was like, it used to be called StreamYards Broadcast. That's how OBS would see it. And this time when I checked, it said that the only one that was available was, or what was now available, was StreamYard Studio. Ooh. So I don't know what that's all about, but anyway. Do you want to, before we get into topics, do you want to take care of our chat crew tonight?
Sure. So over on Rumble, which is where we started, we have Tier Alexander, some idiot called Terry's old, another jerk called the One-Time Hammer, Johnny the Hellcat, who has apparently acquired a middle name, Corsten, aka Brior Brayus Hastic, Jack Gunsky, so hopefully he doesn't follow us over here, JB/J Blizzard, Green Badger without the outdoors, and Spud Gun 58. So there were 57 Spud Guns before him. That's a lot.
That's a lot of Spud Guns.
It is.
I think Green Badger Outdoors. We should get the joke running that if he's on Rumble, he's indoors, and he's on YouTube, he's outdoors.
Yeah, I think so. Frosted Glass is over on Rumble as well. Brand Radieri, he's one of my friends on Twitter. It's good to see him in chat. And Cynic has just joined us over on Rumble. Over on the YouTube side, we have Kivadam, Tier Alexander, Big Dro, Cynic again, Spud Gun, Corsten, Frosted, Cannibalistic Wizard. We didn't see him over on Rumble, and I think that's it. I think we're up to date.
Cool. You guys having any problems on YouTube? It's yelling and screaming on my end.
It's buffering like crazy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yelling and screaming on my end. But it's not yelling and screaming on OBS. And my network meter is not really having too much of a problem. But if you look at what YouTube is saying, error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I don't know why. I'm sending 28K. That's more than you need.
And Spud Gun was suggesting lowering the resolution to make the buffering stop. And I said, no, you will enjoy the stream at 4K or not at all.
You'll enjoy the the seasickness and you'll like it.
I wonder if I can do that dynamically, go from like 4K to 1440p. I don't know if you can do that while the show is on. I don't know if that would
I mean,
fix
it's probably
anything.
not a good idea to mess with it. Yeah, it's already broken enough. You don't want to break it further.
Break it any more than it's already broken. The thing is, this
Um,
is YouTube's fault. This is not me. If it was me, I could fix it, but this is not me. Yeah, I'm sending 28K. That's plenty for 4K to send 28K stream.
So I would suggest if you're having trouble on YouTube, see if Rumble's any better. Spud was saying he's just going to catch the rerun. If you want to watch live, maybe your Rumble will be better than YouTube. There is a reason that we stream to both after all. So
yeah, I bumped up to 29K. It seems like I can do that. I don't know if it's going to fix anything, but I told it to here's more bandwidth. Use this. It seems like it didn't make any difference at all.
it's still buffering for me.
Yeah. I refresh the screen on it and I'm seeing the same thing. It's still saying that stupid message.
I don't know. I would be fine if, and I think you said you are too, if we were just like exclusively on Rumble, but I do understand that YouTube is where most of the audience is.
Yeah, it'd be a different story if anyone else in our crew was going to Rumble as well, but no one else is going.
Yeah.
I'm the only person doing it. So, yeah, I don't think. Go to the video tab. I don't know if I could change any of these things on the fly or not. Output scale resolution. Changes? No, not while it's running. Video output is currently active. Please turn off any outputs to change the video settings. So I can't do it live unless I stop the stream. I'm not gonna play with it.
Maybe probably a good idea to leave it alone.
Yeah, maybe I'll play with the settings during the week to see if I can give it even more bandwidth to use. So that maybe I'll make YouTube happier, because I think maybe YouTube might have changed something, because I haven't touched.
That could be it.
Yeah, I haven't touched these settings in forever. So
YouTube does change things all the time, just to try new things and break everyone's
fuck with
setups.
creators.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and go over tonight's topics. Well, I don't know if we'll get to them, but the first topic is SUI. This is Elon Musk is threatening or preparing to sue the ADL for defamation.
Good.
Yeah.
I do not like the ADL.
Exited is Biden walking out during the middle of the Medal of Honor ceremony.
Is it because he prefers to play Call of Duty to Medal of Honor?
I don't know what the deal is, because the guy can't seem to exit any kind of function correctly. He falls, he goes the wrong way, he leaves early, he can't seem to get his exit correct.
No.
And then finally, Muddy Man is what happened to Burning Man this year. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Burning Man celebration, but every year they
sure want us to know, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of hippies getting together and burning some wood. But
you got that one wrong. It's a bunch of rich hippies wanting to go out and burn stuff. They're all like
more specific. But it got rained out this year. They still lit the Burning Man on fire and all that kind of stuff, but everybody's walking around in like 4 or 5 inches of mud because it rained real hard.
So over on Rumble, I just switched over, and the chat there is actually a lot more active. I think it must not be buffering as much over on Rumble.
That's kind of the good part of doing this, is that they are 2 separate streams. They're not linked. Rumble and YouTube from my house, from where I'm streaming from, are not linked in any way, except that they're both coming from the same computer. And believe me, my computer has no problem with any of this.
But Frosted is saying Monkey had Undoomed on last night, but he had the coof. So I pointed out that he sounded like Hammer after getting punched in the throat.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about, speaking of how you sound on the internet, I was actually thinking about taking a nap before the show, but I didn't get around to it. So my voice is normal for a change. Usually I take a nap before the show and I get up sounding all sexy.
And Cannibalistic says the hippies at Burning Man got their first shower since 1983, which is probably true.
That's pretty funny. And you're right. It probably is true. So those are the things we have to talk about besides just general jibber jabber. But yeah, but I did change. The quote unquote lawnmower on my farm is actually a tractor because it's a farm. You know, if you're going to cut the grass on the farm, it's a lot of grass. You know, you want a tractor. You know,
yeah.
But at my parents' house, now that I'm living here, my father had purchased a regular old riding mower, a Briggs & Stratton Sears, you know, good old American steel lawnmower. And my dad has been gone for quite a while, so people would, you know, when I wasn't up here, when I was in Virginia, either my brother would come up because he's closer to this house than I am. I was in Virginia, and he would do it, and some of the people who are nearby, neighbors and stuff like that, would help her out and cut the grass. And I have no record of how often the oil was changed. I have no idea. And Mom didn't know. I mean, she's older. She has no clue about how lawnmowers work. And I doubt my brother did anything, because he'll shine the car, but he'll take the car to a mechanic. He's not mechanically inclined. So this oil could have been in that lawnmower for 5-6 years, as much as I know. Now, granted, up here, summer is very short. So when you cut the grass, it's 5-6 times a year maybe that you do it. And although it's a fairly big lawn and there's a lot of hills and stuff, so the engine has to drag you and the lawnmower up some inclines. It's a pretty wide lawnmower. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to get everything cut. So there's not a lot of mileage. It's just a lot of time with the same oil. So when I went to change the oil, I was like, all right. So I found out how much I'm going to need and did all the regular things. And there's a little plug at the bottom of the engine that it's screwed into the side of the engine, and it's got a plastic piece. And you turn the plastic piece and pull, and that will open the plug so the oil can drain. So you don't want to just try to drain cold oil. So I cut like the very front part of the grass just to warm the engine up, so the oil was very thin, warm and thin. And I pulled it into the area where I was going to change everything. And I went to take the plug off, and I noticed that there was some oil spilled, a little bit of buildup right near where that plug was. So I went to turn it, and it wasn't screwed in all the way. So I was like, well, wait a minute. If it's not screwed in the way and it's leaking on the chassis, how much did it leak? Have I been running it with low oil altogether? So I took the top piece, the dipstick at the top, and I pulled out, it was still full. I was like, cool. All right. So I went to turn and pull the plug so it would release the oil. And I didn't notice it because it had gotten oil on it. It was black, a little grime on it. But the plastic piece had cracked.
Oh.
So I put the clear plastic tube on the end of the plastic piece that I needed to turn that would drain oil so it just wouldn't get everywhere.
Yeah.
And I put a aluminum pan underneath to catch the oil, like you do. And I turned and pulled the yellow plastic piece that was part of the valve, I guess you would call it. And not realizing that it was cracked, I pulled the whole thing off.
Oh God.
Yeah, so oil just everywhere on the frame and everything. It didn't get on the patio, thank God, but it just got everywhere on the frame and the side of the engine and all that kind of stuff. The good thing was I had bought a new one, so I was like, at first it was instant panic. Oh no! Oh wait a minute! I have a replacement for this. Everything's good. Everything's good. So I let it drain, went in and had lunch and let it drain for a while. And I came back and I took the whole piece out. So it was just the side of the engine and nothing else. And degreased it and cleaned it and all that kind of stuff, and screwed the new piece in. It has plumber's tape on the threads. Made sure it was nice and tight. Made sure everything was closed. Put the oil in. Put fresh oil in. And checked it to make sure it was the right height. And I was like, oh, we're all good. Everything's good. I had the plastic piece. It was messy, but everything's good. And then I realized I forgot to change the filter. I was so annoyed and so flabbergasted. Well, not, I guess flummoxed would probably be a better word, of what happened with that plastic piece, that I forgot entirely about. Well, you have to change the filter too.
Yeah.
And I only had 2 full quarts, and it takes about 1 1/4 quart. So I couldn't just drain what I had just put in, because that would be first a huge waste, and I wouldn't have enough oil to replace it with either. So I got online, and apparently, even though it's a riding motor, you can put it on its side, as long as you put it on the side where the carburetor is up, as opposed to when the carburetor is down. Carburetor is down, you'll flood the carb. It'll pull out on the grass or the patio or whatever. So tomorrow, early, so it's not too hot, I'm going to try putting this 600-pound lawnmower on its side and replacing. It was just a stupid thing too, because I bought the filters and the oil at the same time on Amazon, but they were delivered on 2 different days. The filters came in first, so I put them down, and then the oil came in, and I put the oil in front of the filters. So when I went to go to change them, I just grabbed the oils and walked out on the patio. If the filters were in front, I would have remembered them. I would have seen them, but because they were behind, and then what happened, and then, so tomorrow should be the great experiment. I don't know if what's going to happen. I figure if I have it on the side, I might as well check to make sure that the blades are sharp and all that kind of stuff, because it vibrates a bit. But that was my day. My entire morning was taken up by just changing the oil in the lawnmower.
Well, I think you all heard how the lawn gets mown where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not done by me, which means I have no control over when it is done. And
but that was the air blower thing that they were doing after the cut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, do you live in a jungle?
Good. Well, we are on Rumble. Rumbles happen in jungles. I've been very
It sounded like a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
But
it was just oddly loud. And in all honesty, it wasn't even that big of a deal. It's just every once in a while they're just really loud. I've had dudes working in my area too, and most of the time I can tune them out, and then every once in a while I'm like, dude, what motor do you have?
Normally it's annoying, but this time I couldn't even hear you guys over the sound of the leaf blower. That it was that loud, and I don't know why it was that loud, but geez.
I was like, did somebody home improve your equipment? They installed extra motors?
I think it's the same as the garbage people. I think that the guy doing it is just grumpy, and he's like, if I'm miserable, I'll make sure everyone else is too. Can I get it even louder? The windows haven't shuttered yet.
It was pretty loud. I'm glad you have a little mute on your microphone to mute it out, because I was like, wow, that's really loud.
Yeah.
The thing is, my microphone is pretty loud too, and you could not hear me. That's how loud it was for you. I can only imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've got the dead side of the microphone pointing towards the window. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you could hear it at all means it's like loud enough to sort of hit the front of the mic. Mm. So it's like,
you have a Yeti, right?
Yeah.
Yeti has a settings knob on it. It gives you one of 4 settings.
Yeah. So I've got it. So the one pointing at me is the one that's active, and the one that's facing away from me is dead. So the dead side is pointed at the window. So for you to hear the leaf blower, it's like loud enough that it's like hitting the front. Like like it's hitting the dead side, but it's like bouncing off the wall behind me and hitting the
Yeah.
front as well. It was like that's how loud it was.
Wow. Yeah, the reason I mentioned the settings is if you have the wrong settings, it'll pick up the background more than some of the other settings. There's a setting that says just take the stuff that's in front of the microphone.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah, so
and that's why I'm pointing out the fact that you could hear it at all means it was so loud that it was like, even though the dead side of the mic is aimed at the window, you could still hear it. That's how loud it was.
First 3 months that I had my Yeti, I had it in the wrong setting.
Yeah. Well, I actually read the instruction book that came with it because I had no idea what I was doing, so I had to use the instructions anyway. So I was like making sure everything was right.
Well, the Yeti is just a USB microphone, so I bought a little microphone stand to put it on because it comes with a stand that you put on your table, but I wanted an arm, so I bought an arm for it, and it looked really stupid, but it worked really well. It isolated it so that I can, like mine's isolated right now. So if I knock on my table, it doesn't come through the actual arm. You just hear it because it's picking up the table. But the Yeti was set for omnidirectional, so it was picking up sound from everywhere. And I didn't know it was still picking up my voice. Oh, it works! It's picking up my voice. It's a microphone. What the fuck, you know? And then I think it was Irate Prostate, I think, mentioned, he's like, your microphone's picking up everything in the room. I was like, well, it's a cardioid microphone. They kind of do that. And he says, what is this? It's a Yeti. He says, no. He said, it's not a snowball. It's a Yeti. The Yeti has a way of getting around this. Look at this button. I was like, oh, duh. I'm a moron. So.
Apparently Frosted is getting buffering. I don't know if anyone else in chat is.
On Rumble?
But on Rumble, yeah. It seems fine at my end, but I just thought I'd let you know because Frosted has pointed it out.
Is there anybody on YouTube that's not on Rumble?
Let me check. It looks like the last person to talk on YouTube was Keith, but that was like 10 minutes ago. So I think everyone has moved over to Rumble because YouTube was just buffering to that extent. Like it's still buffering for me on YouTube.
Yeah, the network. You can look at the network meter on the screen from what I'm sending.
Yeah.
And you can see that it's up high on the screen, where close to the numbers, and it's fairly flat. So, from my side, I'm doing everything right.
No, Frosted just said he exited and came back. As in he closed the app and reopened it, and it's working fine now. So
Yeah.
I think it was just the app was being silly.
Yeah, YouTube's still buffering on my side too. Yeah, I guess maybe next week we'll go to 1440p. I know I'm breaking Frosted Glass's heart here, but
well, he just bought a new monitor. Well, he said he's going to buy one soon.
Yeah.
So that next week he better be amazed.
Maybe we'll go down to 1440p as a test to see how things work.
I say one extreme to the other is like 144.
Yeah, 1440p.
No, 144. It's just like the lowest setting.
No, we can't possibly do that. I don't even know if that's even possible on OBS. I don't think OBS could go down that far. I think the lowest it can go is 720.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it even has that option. It may have 480, but it doesn't
have
140.
The lowest YouTube can go is 144.
Yeah, 140.
And if you put it down that low, you can't even read chat. Like, it's just a big blur.
Big blur. Yeah. But I guess next we can do, because that'll tell me if it's just really not getting enough data or what. Because in all honesty, I'm getting close to the max amount of bandwidth that I have to do this, because I have 40K of tape to broadcast through, and 8K of that is being taken by Rumble, and the rest is 28K is being sent to YouTube. So that's 36 out of 40. So I still have a little bit of room, but there's always overhead, you know, so probably 1440p. If suddenly everything works great, then we know that I'm at my max.
Yeah.
What we'll do is find out when Ross is going to be here, and we'll make sure that that night we run 4K just for him.
Yeah. But he's in chat. He's saying, are you stopping 4K just when I finally get a 4K TV? It's not fair. There was time now.
Yeah, I don't really think that like I've said this before. The only reason I did it was just because I wanted to see if I could do it, kind of deal.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, it's just a couple of chat bubbles and some chat text on the screen. We're not playing video games or anything here where 4K is going to make a difference. And really, when you go out on Twitch and watch games, they're not playing at 4K there either. You know, no. I don't think they could properly support 4K 60 frames on Twitch. I don't think the service itself can do that.
For me, anything above 1080p is a waste. Like I won't really notice the extra graphical quality. Like I'm just not attuned to pick it up. It's just like 1080p is fine.
What's your monitor resolution though?
Man,
you don't know?
Let me check.
You're a man. You're supposed to know these things.
Yeah. Display settings. See what's in display settings.
If Jen knows what hers is, man, you're gonna look bad.
Nope.
Jen, no good. You're safe.
Display.
I got both. Yeah, both of my co-hosts here looking at their Windows settings, trying to figure out what their resolutions are.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. I don't even know where to look.
Right click, display settings. It should be right on that page.
Let's go to display settings.
And just scroll down. It'll say display resolution. Mine's
there it is. 1920 times 1080.
So it's a 1080p monitor. So this is all wasted on you. Even if you were able to know that I was at 1440p or 2160, which is 4K, you couldn't see it anyway. Your monitor can only do 1080p.
Yeah.
So it really isn't that much difference. I've seen the show on Rumble and I've seen the show on YouTube. You know, I usually go back after the show's done to make sure things look right and all that kind of stuff and see if I made it, if there's any mistakes or anything weird happening, like that kind of stuff.
And
also, I really can't tell.
But also my eyes are fucked up. So I'm like not only short-sighted and need glasses, I'm like colorblind and I get double vision if I look to the side. So like my eyes are a mess. So like when I say it's just wasted on me, just even if I had, you know, the best monitor in the world, it's like my eyes aren't suited to looking at things in that much detail.
Yeah, well, we'll do that next week. Next week's show will be at 1440p, just as a test to see what's going on and to annoy Frosted.
Yeah, which is reason enough, really.
So, oops, music poll. It's music poll time.
Oh yeah.
So we kind of touched on Burning Man. There's really not much of a story there. It's just funny that it happened. But and what's going on with Biden, who can't seem to make a proper exit without falling or going the wrong way.